YouTube? Welcome to the COD. As you know, I'm John Dibbs. I'm featuring my boys Agui and Knox today. Today we're going to help you find the right can to start dipping. So some things that make people stop dipping only after their first pinch are swallowing the spit, swallowing the saliva or the tobacco, getting lightheaded or dizzy, getting a dry mouth, putting a messy pinch in, and it all just ruins the experience for you. So today we're going to try to get you away from that and help you find the right can so that you'll be able to have the best dipping experience, and who knows, you may be a lifer. So some things that we're going to go over today are going to be the right cuts, flavors, things along that matter.
Yeah. Find the right cup for you. It could be something along the lines like, hey, I want something that's going to last me along with flavor, something that's going to help keep me up during the nighttime. You got to find what best fits your situation and such. Like you can go for long cut is what we're dipping now by coping wintergreen, and that's good for everyday dipping. You know, it depends on how much you dip. You know, if you're dipping for a long time and you want the flavor to last a while, we recommend you try out a long cut. You know, if you want to go for something in shorter flavor, you might want to try pouches or short blend and stuff like that.
One thing to keep in mind is, always long cut will last you a really long time. Like that long cut will last you about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how experienced a dipper you are. Pouches don't last too long. They're not as strong at all, so you're probably going to end up using like 2, 3, sometimes 4 pouches at a time, and that's usually good for the newer people who dip. Problem is it's not going to last you as long, and normally the flavors are very fleet. The flavor doesn't last as long.
Right. And that also goes in with your pocket money. You're trying to save some money while you're dipping. You're doing pouches and you want to dip for long periods of time. You're going through 3 or 4 pouches in a dip session. That can ain't gonna last you very long. You want to get something it's going to be affordable and comfortable for you. That way you're not hurting any pockets.
Yeah, so on that note, we're going to recommend you some of these top brands that are great to start off with. You won't have any problem finding these for sure in any state that I know of. Majority of these states carry these brands. So some brands that you may want to try. Grizzly is a good starter brand. It's not too strong and it's not expensive. It's about $3 or $4 in the state of Texas. Other states may vary. Copenhagen is a little bit more advanced than Grizzly. The reason I say it's a little more advanced because it's going to cost you $5 a can, so you better be dipping this shit all day if you're going to spend $5 on a can. 2, you feel the tobacco a little bit more than you do with Grizzly. Personally, in my opinion, but then again, everybody's different. Some guys I know dip Grizzly strictly. Me personally, I'm a Copenhagen guy. I've tried every single brand you can think of that I can get my hands on at least. So, on that note, Copenhagen has many flavors. Grizzly just goes into more of a fruity flavor. So Copenhagen has more of your traditional flavors. You got your original, you got your snub that's a little more fine, you got your wintergreen, which is a top brand across the board, you got your mint, you got your straight. So those are a couple brands from Copenhagen.
Right. When we're pulling long hours and shift like that, you'll find us putting in something like Copenhagen mint, because that mint flavor is going to help keep us up during the night. Because we're pulling long hour shifts, and then you get a little tired. Throw a little mint in there to help keep you awake when you're on shift.
Copenhagen ain't always the biggest thing, mainly because of the strength. And Grizzly, it's not as strong as Copenhagen, but it definitely it's up there in the strength. If you want a good brand, it's a little pricey as well, almost about the same as a can of Copenhagen. It's Skull. It's not as strong, and you've got a lot of flavors to choose from. They've got cherry, they've got a citrus flavor, they've got peach, they've got all kinds of flavors. So if you're doing it mainly for the flavor, Skull is definitely a good option for first time dippers.
Say you're out and you're having some margaritas, right? You take your little Skull and you put your little cherry flavor in there from Skull, and the next thing you know, you got a cherry margarita. It works just as well.
Yeah, on that note, Skull is a flavor that, some guys might find it safe to swallow just because it's comfortable for you. You're going to have a fruity flavor in your mouth. It's a little bit easier to get comfortable with fruity flavors. The reason being because, if you're dipping wintergreen or mint, you're going to taste that tobacco pretty strong, and you're going to be a little hesitant to swallow. Once you swallow it, that little bit that goes down your throat is not going to sit too well. So, Skull is a little bit more dry than Copenhagen. Reason being, I mean, Copenhagen is strong to begin with. The tobacco's strong and the flavor's strong. Skull, I've never seen one that's so moist that, like, as soon as you grab a pinch, it's going to have that juice on your fingers, like Copenhagen. You'll see us advertising Copenhagen a lot. I mean, it's a great brand. I mean, that's all pretty much everybody does over here where we're at. So you'll see us advertising that quite a bit.
You know where's with the flavors now? If you think about it, some of these dips that got flavor in them, they tend to vary in how long they last. You know, as far as the flavor goes, and they might dry out on you, and you might have to buy a new can, you know, because the flavor doesn't last so long. Which is, you know, it's understandable because nothing's going to, you know, taste flavorful forever. You chew a piece of bubblegum's going to have a flavor for about a good hour and a half, and then it's gone. You know, same thing with dip.
Yeah, so some of the key things that we want you to keep in mind when you're trying to find the right can, I mean, obviously the flavor is the biggest thing. That's what we just tried to cover right now. So if you're looking for something pure tobacco, try Copenhagen Original. It's the basic brand that we go to. I mean, you're going to get the feel for tobacco before you get into the strong stuff like Copenhagen Mint and Copenhagen Wintergreen that may burn you a little bit once you start getting that moisture in your gums. Especially if your gums aren't used to it. Your gums are going to take some time. You're going to have to develop that little pocket when you put your pinch in. Now, if you want to go with something, like I said, a little more cheaper, one little can that we do know of for sure is Longhorn. Longhorn's like maybe $2-3 a can in the state of Texas at least. And it's not as dry, but it's not moist like as much as Copenhagen Mint or Wintergreen. So you'll get that good buzz going off on a Longhorn can. But be in mind, you may not like the taste. So this all goes back to what you're feeling. If you want something more fruity, something more comfortable to swallow, we recommend Skull. Skull brand, I mean, generally they got a lot of fruity flavors. They got a wide variety. I mean, like Aguilar said, it's going to be like cherry, it's going to be citrus, you got grape, you got, I think there's like a peach and a watermelon. And they got a wide variety across the board. Now, you want that strong tobacco taste, Copenhagen's the way to go. I mean, almost every single can flavor they have, you're going to taste the tobacco with a hint of whatever extra flavor they put in there.
So, moving on to another topic, a lot of people, when they first start dipping, they realize that when they first took it, maybe it hit them really, really hard. Maybe they didn't know how much to put in, maybe they didn't always, you know, they put too much or they put maybe too little, and the buzz is either you know, just a quick little buzz and you just feel it, just like a little, maybe someone like, you know, just poking you. Other times what a lot of people do is they put way too much and they end up getting knocked on their ass. They're just there, they're dazed, they're just
Getting dizzy.
Yeah, they're dizzy, they can't even stand up for the most part, they gotta sit down, and sometimes a lot of people will throw up, which is usually pretty funny to see. So, as far as we recommend that, don't take your first time dipping, take a small pinch, not so small that you know you're not gonna feel anything, especially if you know you switch from. For me, when I first started, I was already smoking cigars and maybe a cigarette here and there, but usually I wasn't like a really big nicotine guy. But at the same time, I still had enough of a tolerance to just, you know, handle a lot more than what I thought I could. So what's usually good is that you don't take too big a pinch. Make it a reasonable size pinch.
You want to pinch decent enough to where you could get the flavor going. I mean, if you're going to try dipping and you want to try any of these cans that we just recommended you don't want to get a little nugget pinch like about penny size. Because, I mean, one thing I covered in my last video, if you're going to put a small pinch in right here in the center, that shit's going to move left and right. It's not going to sit too well. You want to get a decent size. I mean, if I had to compare, I mean, use $50 size. If you can get a $50, get a pinch about that big. It looks scary at first, obviously, if you're going to try to start dipping. But the whole point is, remember, once it's big enough and you sit in the right place, it's going to sit perfect, you're going to get a good buzz, and you're going to be able to dip. Alright, so thank you for watching. I really hope this video was helpful to somebody out there who wants to go about dipping the right way. So remember the key things: find the can, the cut, the flavor, the price. So I really want to hear what you guys have to say. Drop a comment below, like and subscribe, and as always, kill the can.